Greetings from the Long Island Sound podcast. Welcome to the show. Please rate, review, and comment on the show, and call our listener line and leave a message for our guest. Dial 631-800-3579. All right, enjoy the show. Welcome to the Long Island Sound podcast, where we explore the muse and the music, from the North Shore to the South Shore, from New York City to the Hamptons, navigating the wellspring of original music from singer-songwriters and musicians from Long Island, New York. Hi, I'm Steve Yusko from GigDestiny.com. Stay tuned as we explore the Long Island Sound. My guest today pays tribute to the old adage, let's take lemons and make some lemonade. Darren Gallagher has an interesting backstory as he paid his dues over the decades with various bands and countless gigs. The dark days of COVID can bring us down or inspire creativity and hope. Well, here's some rocking original tunes in the various projects through Darren's career. Let's take a listen to his original song, Coming and Going. We have a great guest in this episode. He actually found me on Facebook, so I feel very blessed. Darren is a 30-plus year veteran of the Long Island music scene, and he started off in the Robert Thomas Band in the mid-'80s, playing a mix of cover and original songs. Much later, he found Net Profits, a highly respected, versatile area rock band, which eventually morphed into Badlands, a tribute band to Bruce Springsteen, who, by the way, is one of my favorite artists of all time. So this was destiny. Badlands has played to crowds in excess of 3,000 people up and down the East Coast. He lends his searing guitar work to a lot of different tribute bands, and we'll discover that as we get into the episode. But what I found really unique listening to Darren Gallagher's music was the fact that he had a horn section, which I thought was the coolest thing. It just gives this great wall of sound to his original music. So before I give everything away, hey, Darren Gallagher, welcome to the Long Island Sound Podcast, brother.
Thank you, Steve. Thanks so much for having me.
Yeah. I tell you, we heard coming and going, coming into the broadcast. There's probably a bad segue there. So we'll dive into that a little bit later, but I'm really always curious. And this podcast tries to find out more about the artist behind the music. So when did music come to you? Musical family, what'd you pick up?
So I definitely come from a musical family. I have two older brothers who are both very good musicians, jazz musicians more so. And they're a lot older than I am. So I was born in 65, and Mike was 57, and Brian was 58, 59. And so they were quite older. So I had their record collections at my disposal, and they were in bands. I used to come home from elementary school, and their bands would be rehearsing in the basement, and I would go down and just check them out. And I had my own little concert down there. And, I was just a big fan. I was a big Beatles, Stones fan. That's kind of what started me off.
That's neat. I have siblings who are older than me as well, 10, 11 years older than me. And I benefited from both their record collections. Mm-hmm. Of course, I was banned from actually using the albums, and they would lock their bedroom doors. We found ways of getting them out.
My brothers were cooler than that.
And back. Where did you grow up? Did you grow up on the island?
Yeah, West Babylon.
Oh, okay. So you're still a local guy.
Yep, not too far.
Yeah, so we're neighbors. Yeah, I'm in Babylon. You're in West Babylon.
Yeah, I'm in West Islip now. I grew up in West Babylon.
Oh, cool.
But still neighbors, still close.
Yes, still neighbors, right? So you get the urge, and it's so cool when with the garage band era, and that can give you the inkling of, hey, if they can do it, maybe I can do it, type of thing. So you're young, right? And did you have a band in high school, or where'd you kind of progress from there?
Yes, so I'll tell you, my older brother gave me a couple of guitar lessons, get me started. And he gave me a good foundation of chords. I was learning not just, rock chords, bar chords. I was learning some jazz chords and some progressions and things. And we went over kind of how to play over some of that stuff. But, early on, I was in it and I was out of it. I wasn't dedicated like my brothers were. I was really into sports. I had a lot of other interests. But what got me really going was this really kind of a cheesy guitar class that I want to say was maybe in 8th or 9th grade. And it was just, I figured I can play the guitar. I kind of self-taught myself after my brother gave me some lessons. And there was a guitar class for credits, and I took it. And what wound up happening was really cool. Me and a couple of guys in the class, outside of what we were learning in there, because I kind of knew what they were teaching in that class already, we started showing each other songs, chords, and that gave all of us the impetus to go home and start learning tunes and showing them to each other, different chords, different riffs. And that got me really going. And since that time, I never put it down. I formed a couple of bands, I think in junior high. We played some block parties and that kind of thing. And then I took music theory through high school with some phenomenal musicians in West Babylon. Walter Alessi was the teacher. He passed away just a few years back. lived into his 90s, I believe. He just was amazing. So Eric Della Penna, James Pagano, there's some really, really great players came out of there. And we were all taking theory classes, and we took it a year early. And then we formed a jazz improv class as seniors. And we would basically cut out of our later classes and hang around the music wing. We jam and play, and we put on a concert doing, we did like Jeff Beck and the theme from Barney Miller and Dixie Dregs. And we did some really cool stuff. So I don't know. It just kind of all happened quickly in high school.
You know what I find interesting, and I was similar to you. I had other interests, although I picked up the guitar later in life. It was just too hard for me. I learned the 3 chords, but it's just these little encouragements. And if you're in a pool of guys like your situation, how that encouragement can really get you to I'm going to woodshed this and make something of it. And that happened with me. I played with this guy, Kevin, who said, hey, come and play with us. And, I'm an old man at this time. I'm in my, late 30s. And I was horrified how I played, but I got the itch, to say, I can do better than this. I can really kind of jump into it. Now, you write your own songs? Were you writing songs back then as well?
Wasn't.
Okay.
I wasn't writing songs back then. So back then I guess I should say that, my brother understood like that I should learn a couple of pop songs, rock songs, because that gives you kind of the motivation to keep going. Mm-hmm. People ask me often, how did you stay with it? It's so frustrating, with people who are learning. And, sure. I remember learning Angie by the Rolling Stones. He wrote the chords out for me. We went over all the chords. I was young. I was in elementary school, I guess. And I got that. And it was so rewarding, and it made me want to start learning other songs. So
same thing happened with me. Although I did it on my own, what really keyed it in for me was when guitar tabs came out.
Okay. Never used one. Never.
Okay. That's the only way. What do you mean? Isn't that the way you play? What?
I've never used the guitar tab. I just listen by ear, or I can read. I used to read a lot of music. I probably
you stink. Oh anymore. God! So you got a skill. I don't have the skill, so I had to use that.
It was a learned, rigorously learned skill, I guess. But I would be terrible if you put a music chart in front of me now. I would struggle big time. But I have an ear. I can.
That's the key. If you have, you're besides the physicality of making chords and playing notes and strumming and all this other things and rhythm, to have that ear to know when it's off, and where it should be or what key you're in and that sort of thing is something that's developed. Some people have it naturally and sometimes you can work to develop it, for sure. So
I've always been able to just put on a song. I can go through the albums, Leonard Skinner Live, that live album. I would go home and learn every lick on that, Allman Brothers Live. And then, of course, the Beatles and Stones stuff. Then Steely Dan came, and that really was a challenge. And, I would sit there and pick up the needle, put the needle back, pick up the needle, put the needle back, and, learn that stuff.
For the young kids that are listening, we're talking about vinyl LPs where you would spin in a circle and you could listen to one particular part and lift the needle up and then put it right back down in the same spot, which, a lot of people learn that way. It's pretty good.
A lot of kids are listening to vinyl again.
Yeah, it's a big thing. Of course, my vinyl is with a former roommate somewhere with probably my baseball card collection. Collection.
I've got my vinyl. I've got some of my baseball card collection. A lot of it got ruined in a flood in my mother's basement in the laundry room.
Right.
I had baseball cards in paper bags on the floor, on a concrete floor, and we had a flood.
Yeah,
that was a shame.
So tell me about the song that we heard, that our audience heard before I introduced you, Coming and Going. How did that come about?
So that tune is one of the older tunes that I resurrected. I used to play that out with the Robert Thomas Band. I wrote that song. I was living home. I was in college probably. And I was sitting on my bed in my mother's room, in my mother's house in the basement with my guitar, with my Telecaster probably. And I just started playing kind of some jazzy major 7 chords, and I started messing around with descending chromatically, and it kind of reminded me of Steely Dan a bit. Mm-hmm. And I just came up with that intro, and I started playing a progression with it, like a minor blues progression type of thing, and that was one of the earlier tunes I wrote, but I still write the same way. I kind of write the progression first, and then a melody comes to me, and I start humming. I start humming sounds until something sounds cool, and I came with "Ooh, You Had Me Coming and Going" as the hook, and I liked it, so I kind of built a song around that. And it's imaginary. I mean, life experience, it's pretty much about leaving somebody who wasn't good for you, and I've probably had to do that several times after that song was written.
Yeah, but, what's interesting about songs, I'm very loath to ask, what does that mean? Because music's supposed to be put out, at least my opinion, music is put out there for interpretation and for people to make it their own and tie it to their own experience. That's what kind of, and then it becomes the song track of their life, even though you may have had a different inclination of where you were going with it. So that's the cool thing. That's the cool thing about music. So, so do you collaborate with a lyricist at all? Or is it pretty much all you as far as music and lyric goes?
It's all me. I would love to collaborate someday, and I've spoken to various people, and it just hasn't come to fruition because I'm more of a music guy, and I think I write the way I listened to music growing up. The music always got me first, and then sometimes I didn't even pay attention to what the song was about or what the lyrics meant, but I knew the lyrics just from listening. I was able to just memorize lyrics. But a perfect example of like lyric first type artists, they didn't appeal to me when I was young. A lot of them do now. Guys like Bob Dylan, guys like Neil Young. I wasn't really drawn to that music early on. I think possibly because of the simplicity of the chord progressions and things, they didn't do it for me. There wasn't a lot of melody going on, a lot of that stuff. But as I've gotten older and wiser, I go back to that stuff and really appreciate it a lot more now than I did.
Yeah. Now it was interesting when you I was reading your bio about being in Badlands, the Springsteen cover band. What I find interesting about Bruce, at least for me, and we're similar in age, is when he redoes his songs in an acoustic version, solo, or slows them down, and I could really digest the lyrics and go, oh, that's what he meant by that. That's okay. I mean, just what comes to mind is when he does, I pushed B-52 and bombed him with the blues. And as a younger man, I had no idea what the hell he was talking. I was thinking of the B-52 bomber. There's a tie in there, but he's talking about a jukebox, and you get that. Oh, I could have had a V8 moment.
Right. Happens a lot to me.
Listening to the music again. So why don't we do this? Let's just take a quick break. We'll regroup and we'll dive into some other things with Darren Gallagher. Stick with us, everybody. Hi, Steve Yusko from Gig Destiny here. Well, as you're probably listening to this podcast, you're probably thinking about that musician who would make a fantastic guest here on the Long Island Sound. Well, we'd like to hear their story. We'd like to hear their music. So have them reach out to us at gigdestiny.com and we'll explore their craft. Now, back to our podcast. Hey, we're back, everybody. I'm Steve Yusko, your host, of course, with Darren Gallagher. And Darren, I was really it was interesting that you've been in a couple of tribute projects. And this is the era of the tribute band. And I don't say that with disgust at all. It's a means to an end, and it brings in money both for the musicians and draws the crowds too. So give me a little bit background on the stuff you've done and projects that you're doing now.
Yeah, so it was nothing I ever wanted to do. I never wanted to be in a tribute band. I was in a band called Net Profits, which was a cover band, a pretty good quality band. We would do stuff like Steely Dan, old Elton John, old Bowie, some Boss Skaggs. We were all over the map, and we did some Springsteen. And Chris Cangelleri was the lead singer of that band. And I did some singing, but I was more the lead guitar player there. and he had a voice could really belt out Springsteen. So people would, we would do Born to Run, we would do Prove It All Night, or 10th Avenue Freeze Out, and people would come up to us and say, so we had a sax player in the band, you guys sound just like Springsteen, that sounds really great. And my keyboard player came up to me with the idea, maybe we should turn this into a Bruce tribute band. You're not going to like this, but I said, I'm not really that big a fan. I was not like I mentioned before, that kind of music didn't really appeal to me.
It didn't resonate. It didn't resonate with you. Yeah.
Didn't resonate with me early on, but I saw what was happening with the tribute bands, and I took a listen to. I always loved his, Darkness material and the material on Born to Run and earlier. So I took a listen to it all, and I came up with a set list, and I said, okay, let's give this a shot. And we learned those tunes, and the band sounded great. We had a dedicated organ, dedicated piano, and we had, Chris played rhythm guitar and did the Bruce. I did the little Stephen harmonies. And we did our first show. We did a live video shoot in West Babylon at the studio over there that I can't remember the name. It's not there anymore. And we did our first gig at 89 North, and it was packed out. I said, we are onto something. There were maybe 400 people, wall to wall. And we opened up with Badlands, and the breakdown part, the whole audience was doing their whoa.
Oh man.
Wow. It was a rush. So I'm like, all right, I can dig playing Springsteen doing.
I can get used to this, right?
Well, I always say I played original music to 5 people, to 5 to 50 people. I played in cover bands from 20 to 100 people, and I played in tribute bands from 200 to 3,000 people. So
amazing.
If you can do that, you know what? There's a lot of people who poo-poo it, but honestly, if you do it right and you're tributing an artist that's worthy of the tribute, and I would have to say Bruce Springsteen is an artist worthy of the tribute. So,
yeah, look at Mike Del Giudice, who with Big Shot,
Exactly.
And he, a talented guy, and I happened to listen to some of his original music, and I'm like, wow, his original music really carries great weight. It's
excellent. He's a super talented guy, super nice guy. He heard my Quarantine World, and he sent me a message with some really nice words about that. So
that's funny because an earlier guest, a guy named Matt Marshak, who's a jazz guitarist now doing country Americana, grew up either across the street or down the block from him. And he played with Matt's brother, Chris. And that's how he got inspired. Just like you got inspired by listening to his brothers, do the music. So
amazing.
Yeah, maybe he'll be a guest someday, but he looks kind of busy. So who knows?
He's a Long Island guy. It's the Long Island sound. I think there's a way there. Billy Joel's a Long Island guy. So
yeah, you never know. And that's how I got the name for the podcast. Was Billy Joel at the Long Island Music Hall of Fame said the Long Island sound is more than a body of water that just separates Connecticut from Long Island. So I was like, oh, bingo,
Perfect.
So what are you doing? Are you doing a tribute? Do you have an active tribute band now, or what are you doing now?
Yes. So from Badlands, I wound up in a Cars tribute band, which was a lot of fun. Elliot Easton has always been one of my favorite lead guitar players. So I had an opportunity to do that gig and play his stuff, and that was a lot of fun. We also mixed in like an 80s tribute with that. So I got to sing a bit and play lead. And I was in that for about 3 or 4 years. I recently left because I've been concentrating on a very interesting band. It's kind of a tribute to the English music, pop, kind of sophisticated pop that I grew up loving. Squeeze, Joe Jackson, Elvis Costello.
Yeah.
So there's a new project that it's about a year old now called Playin English, Playn English. So It's a little play on plain English.
Yeah, a little pun there. Got it. Yep.
Yeah, a lot of people don't get it. But
get it.
But we do Squeeze, Joe Jackson, Elvis, and we throw in, maybe some Nick Lowe, and we'll throw in any kind of English tunes and even some smart pop tunes that aren't English. and it's a great band. I got to reunite with one of my bandmates from Robert Thomas Band, Tom Huber, as the drummer.
Okay.
This is a band that are just good friends. I've known for a long time, and this is all about having fun playing what we want to play.
Nice. That's great.
It might not be the hottest selling ticket, Squeeze Joe Jackson, Elvis, but it's building, and people really like it, and the band pulls it off very well. It's not easy music to play.
Right. And you know what it's if you can get a cross-pollination between fans of all these different artists, and it's almost like a variety show, really, when you come down to it, and people enjoy that.
Definitely. Sam Powell, who did all the horns on my music, he's the Glenn Tilbrook in the band. I'm the Joe Jackson in the band. And Tommy Flint's from Ricky and the Roaches is the bass player, and he does the Elvis Costello.
Oh, great. Nice.
So Tommy Flint's is the New York Bee Gees. I should really plug the guys. They're all great guys.
Wait. The New York Bee Gees. Say that guy's name again?
Tom Flint's. Mike and Tom Flint's are brothers. They came up in Ricky and the Roaches back with Jim Small and myself and Robert Thomas Band in Dakota Rose days. We used to play.
Oh, sure. Yeah, because I remember, I think he's been at the Paramount because he and his wife did a lot of stuff online during COVID, which,
That's Mike Flint's, yeah.
Yeah. So that's kind of cool.
Yeah, Mike's great. He just put out a video today on his. He has a new band, and I'm sorry I don't remember the name of it, but I saw a brand new song, and the band is just killer. One of the singers was an American Idol, maybe a finalist, I'm not sure, and Mike is ripping on guitar, and it's just like a really good hard rock kind of
nice
late 80s vibe thing. It's really good.
Yeah. By the way, for those who don't know, listening to the podcast, I do put links in the chapter marks. So anybody we're talking about, you want more information, or two old guys here who can't remember something, the chapter marks will be a place to look it up. So you'll have a reference point there. Speaking of videos, you've done a few videos, and they were pretty good.
Oh, thank you. I've had some help. I've had some really been very lucky to be blessed with some very talented people around me, and we all had time during. I really just started recording this batch of songs all during lockdown. We locked down. I learned the technology. I learned how to record. I bought equipment, set it up. I'm recording my vocals here, my guitars here. I learned miking techniques. So I did that all, with
the extra spare time that we all had.
Exactly.
I guess that's the silver lining to COVID. I mean, we could wallow, and there's a lot of difficulty. I'm not diminishing any of that, the people we lost. But, take that energy and put it into productivity is kind of cool, which we weren't meant to do this, but that kind of segues into Quarantine World. That's that song you wrote. So you want to talk about that, and then we'll have our guests listen to it. Sure.
Quarantine World is so the way Quarantine World happened is during COVID, I was in my studio a lot, and I wasn't writing any music, but I was putting out a daily song. I was calling them Corona songs, and I would record a song and just put it up on my Facebook profile. It was really lifting people's spirits. So I would take a random cover song, and I would do it either an acoustic version or maybe with my Telecaster, and I'd put it out there, and it was great. I was getting tons of comments. People were thanking me. I did it once. But then people kept asking for more, so it wound up being an everyday thing to the point where I was kind of under pressure to get a song done every day, even if I wasn't in the mood.
Right.
So I put one out every day I must have done 40 or 50 of them. And one day I woke up and I had the news on, and Cuomo was talking, and it was all about, the death tolls climbing and, what we all went through, what we all experienced. And I was here alone. I have my kids half the time. I'm going through a divorce, actually. So I've been separated for a few years. And I was alone that day. And I grabbed my guitar, and a progression came out to me. And I said, you know what? I think I got a new tune here. I hadn't written a song in really a long, long time.
Wow.
And I came up with the progression, which you'll hear, the opening chords, 3 chords, and the line just came to me. I didn't know what I was going to write about, and usually lyrics come way later for me. and I said, turn on the news. All I see in front of me, death tolls climbing and a down economy, which all was happening. And I got to tell you, I never do this. I took pen to paper because a lot of times I'll just record what I'm doing and try to piece it together. I took pen to paper and I had the full song written in a half hour. I had the full lyric. I came up with a nice little 2/5 change, a little jazzy chord change, and I wrote it. And I went and I played it that day on my Corona songs on my Telecaster. Very distorted, very. I wanted to convey the feeling that I was locked in my room, but I was playing a song that had to get out. And as the song builds up, I think you'll hear it. It's just frustration, and I'm literally doing like a John Lennon type of scream at the end of the song. And a lot of people I had to explain this to because I'm singing. A big part of the song says, "We've got no hope. We're living in a quarantine world," and people have said to me, that's terrible that you feel that way, that you're writing. I said, well, I don't feel that way, but I'm writing from a position of being here and it feels hopeless.
Yeah. And that's the whole lament or the blues aspect of things. There's nothing wrong with connecting with people and saying this effing sucks.
Right.
And then, you know what? Other people are, yeah, he's saying exactly how I feel,
And if you put it to a song, you don't have to be looked at as crazy when I'm in the room by myself. So I had a friend over, actually, because I played it for them, and we were recording, and I was screaming at the top of my lungs. That's what I wanted to do, and
sure.
So I wound up putting it out there. People loved it. I put the lyrics out there, and I get a call from a buddy of mine, Chris Cangelleri, who's the lead singer in Badlands.
Okay.
And he's a great singer, and he's pretty savvy in the recording studio. And he actually said, I want to produce that. Let's record this song. Nice. I said, that sounds great, but I have no idea what to do. I don't know how to record a song at home.
Oh, so wow.
He guided me through it.
What did you use? What program did you use?
I have GarageBand here, so that's what I use to capture all my stuff. You're basically just capturing, your sound in a wave.
Yeah, capturing wave files. Same thing we do with the podcast. I use Audacity.
But we wanted real instruments. I wanted real instruments. I want it to be organic, even though it was going to be remote. So it was a trick. He recommended John LaSpina as the drummer, and I had played with John a couple of times. He's phenomenal. He plays in Rubik's Cube. They are they're an 80s tribute band, and he plays in the Heart, I think it's Bad Animals tribute.
Okay.
And he has a new Emerald Rising is a new original band that he plays in. So I talked to John. I sent him a demo with just my guitar and my singing, and he sent me back drums. And of course, he didn't know what to do. I told him, do what you feel.
Right.
And I didn't like it for the song.
Okay.
I gave him an idea of what I liked. I asked him to listen to a song, to listen to the groove. A song called "Saint of Me" by the Rolling Stones. I love the groove in that. And it was a later Stones tune, and it was a great Charlie Watts groove. And he listened to it, and I can tell you, the second thing he sent me is the final drum take. It was incredible.
Wow! Talk about a good ear.
Or the third. So we had the drums. Chris also recommended Lenny Rosillo. Just a phenomenal Long Island bass player who I knew, who's the greatest guy. I'm honored to even play with him, both of those guys. And he sent me one take, unbelievable bass part. Then I called up my friend Jack Walker. He added keys. I did all the guitar parts. Well, no, I didn't I did rhythm guitar and lead guitar, and Chris added some acoustic guitar and some chugging guitar. And we just built it up, and Chris helped with vocals. And Chris's wife is a female singer who's in a 60s band called the Fabulous Cupcakes, and they do like a Ronettes type thing. So her and her two singers, you'll see them in the video at the end. They added. Chris wrote those backing vocals. I usually write my own, all my vocals and everything, but he said I'd like to do something for the end of this, and he put that together, and it was great. And I'm leaving out the main guy, Sam Powell. Said, do you ever think about putting horns on that? I let him listen to it. I said, I would love it. I love Tower Pow. He goes, and I knew Sam as a bass player. He's in a Steely Dan tribute band and guitar. And we were just kind of talking about starting that squeeze band. And I didn't know he played any horns, let alone all horns and charted things.
Wow. Oh, perfect.
Sam sent me that horn take. He says, take what you want. It might be too much. We dropped that in. We didn't touch it. It was perfect. So I was so blessed to have a horn section on this thing.
Oh, that's great. And you know what? You just went through a roster of people that is going to fill my guest list for the next 2 years. So.
Yes, I can hook you up with all of them, and I'm sure Sam is a guy you want on here because Sam's also a Christian artist. He writes the most amazing music with crazy chord progressions, like Steely Dan style chord progressions. He's a phenomenal singer. He plays every instrument. He's a very interesting guy, and he has a lot to offer. I'll hook you up with Sam. He's great.
Now we've recorded him, so he's going to be guilted into it because
yes.
if he's a Christian, guilt is going to work. So
yeah, it works if you're Christian or if you're Jewish, right?
Yeah, true, right? Yeah. Judeo-Christian guilt works wonders. You get a lot done with it. So let's take a listen to Quarantine World. Enjoy, everyone.
Turn on the news and all I see in front of me, death tolls climbing and a down economy. Can't go to work, can't get a gig, I ain't got no bread. Just stay inside and do what the governor said. But I miss my friends and I miss my job and my family. Thank God I got my kids to help me keep my sanity. I need a drink, I need a smoke, I need some hope, I think I need some company. Hey, but I got no hope 'cause I'm living in a quarantine world. Yeah, I got no hope 'cause I'm living in a quarantine world. Grab some gloves, grab a mask, gotta get some shopping done. But the shelves are all bare and the mail's been out cast, so I head on home. Better yet, grab a flask, gotta get some drinking done. Now my mind is on numb, so I really don't care that I'm all alone. But I miss my friends and I miss my job and my family. Thank God I got my kids to help me keep my sanity. Yeah, I need a drink, I need a smoke, I need some hope, I think I need some company. Yeah. But I got no hope 'cause I'm living in a quarantine world. And I just can't cope 'cause I'm living in a quarantine world. And I know it's the same all around for every single boy and girl. Here we got no hope 'cause we're living in a quarantine world. Let me quarantine world. Yeah, we got no hope. We're living in a quarantine world. Yeah, we got no hope. We're living in a quarantine world. Yeah, yeah, we got no hope. We're living in a quarantine world. Yeah, we got no hope. We're living in a quarantine.
Hey, we're back, everybody. I don't know. I think anybody can relate to that song after the past 2.5 years. So thanks for sharing that. That is so cool. And it does make me want to scream, but I want to throw off my volume levels because I won't have to figure out how to fix it.
Thanks for listening. Funny story about the screaming on that. I put that together piece by piece because I kept losing. I was really, I always consider myself a guitarist first. My singing came later. Mm-hmm. I get by on my voice. I used to always let other people do the singing, but I did decide to put a band together and go out and do these tunes. And Quarantine World in particular, very challenging. I would lose my voice. I would have to shorten the end, the screaming at the end, because I would just inevitably, I just couldn't, after a night of singing, because we would encore with that tune. And and people would be singing along to it, which is amazing. We would break the band down and people would start singing it. And I would lose my voice.
Yeah, exactly.
But just that song put me on the map, man. For original music, we I got radio play. Stony Brook played it. WEHM, which I love, out east, played that song. And I sent it to the Time Machine radio show, this show that I really love. It's a quirky, based out of Hawaii, national radio show. And he loved the song, and he called me and did a radio interview, a live radio interview with me. And the interview was played and the song was played nationally, and that was just a rush.
Wow.
And I wasn't expecting it. I wasn't expecting the phone call. I sent him the song early on a Friday morning. I went to my sister's, still during COVID. We were out in her garage with the door open playing darts. We spoke about that in the interview, had a couple of beers, came home with my girls, and I got this call, not drunk, but a little tiny buzz on, and it was just free-flowing interview, my first real interview like that.
You were loose.
I was loose, and it was a lot of fun, and I recorded that, and I have it, and I did a TV interview with the Donna Drake show. I sent her the video of the song, and she loved it, wow. And she wanted me on there, and I went to her studios, which was incredible, and we did a TV show, so...
Yeah, I saw that. It was great. You did very well, by the way. Very great interview. Very relaxed. It's like sitting in a living room. It was a nice studio. Let me ask you about getting music out to radio stations. Do you still send a CD to them, or is it all electronic? Saying here, you can download it from Dropbox, or how did you approach that with these radio stations?
Yeah, it's all about the files. You send a link, or. So it's worked a couple of different ways. Some people wanted YouTube videos, and one person actually played the song from the YouTube video.
Really?
Yeah. Okay. Robin's Nest on WUSB, Stony Brook.
Yep.
She plays her songs off of YouTube list, so I actually had to put some of my songs that I didn't have videos for, audio only,
right,
on there. But you send that to them. You write a little bit of letter about yourself, trying to differentiate yourself, and sometimes you get lucky. I mean, I submitted. I thought, I'm very fond of these songs, and I think they're of high quality. And people hear you writing an original song, and people think, oh, it's going to be a 3-chord,
cowboy song,
folk song that's going to drag, and it's going to be like paint drying. So these songs are kind of like songs we grew up listening to. That was. They're kind of like with a classic rock kind of slant to them.
Yeah, and when you're juiced up, it's like anything in selling, because you are pitching, right? When you're juiced up about it, you write about it well as far as introduction, and you're motivated to get it out there. Which is kind of cool. I know people can pay for promoters and services and stuff like that, but man, when an artist is juiced up about their own product. To get out there, it's kind of cool. And that usually never happens. I mean, I've spoken to other musicians who are, they don't want to explain it. They rather play it for you and let the art speak for itself. But there's a certain edge to you can't keep it under a basket, so to speak. You got to get it out there. And in fact, I'm being self-serving here, but that's one of the motivations for this podcast, is to give a platform to original music from Long Island, because it is a wellspring of great people and great music. And it's different than it getting lost in the weeds out there, so to speak, where it's a billboard out in the desert. So I hope this brings you success. I know I'm kind of dreaming here, but
thank you. Well, at 56 years old, I did this for me, and people dig it. That's great, and people have dug the live stuff. And I want to mention something because
sure.
My favorite venue really has been KJ Farrell's over in Belmore. And they're shutting their doors. I'm actually going to go see Wondrous Stories there tomorrow night. You can give them a plug and a link. They're a phenomenal band. And I'm going to go see them. It's their last Wednesday night. And they're always gracious. And they usually invite me up to do a cover song or two. And
nice.
This is going to be the send-off. So everybody's going to be down here tomorrow night.
When are they closing the doors?
I think Saturday is it.
Oh, wow. But he's other venues that he's involved with, from what I understand, right? Like the Warehouse
Prohibition, now 89 North.
Okay.
I don't know what's going to happen with him. See, Kevin gave me a platform. Kevin's a great guy, and he's a music fan, and he's just...
Give his last name.
Kevin Sheehan.
Thank you.
Kevin Sheehan. Just, he really single-handedly almost brought live music back to Long Island. There was a point after... say Dakota Road shut down, Right Track In, the OBI, a lot of those places, there wasn't a place that could catch quality, other than top 40 type stuff. And, with KJ Farrell's, he brought that back and he had live music 7 nights a week pre-COVID. That's amazing.
That is amazing. And it's, of people I've spoken to, it's even hard to find even the very small places to play original music, and there's really great quality stuff out there. I mean, there's Bartini, not far from us. He does a lot of original music, and a few people take chances on it. A lot of people go towards tribute bands because, hey, there's more of a guaranteed audience, Otherwise, they're asking the band, okay, you can play, but how many people are you going to bring? And most
Kevin
artists...
he knows me a long time from Net Profits, from Badlands, and and now I did some gigs with Drive over there, and now Playin English. And I said, Kevin, I put together an original band. We did Westlake Music in Patchogue. They had their grand opening, and I know some of the people involved over there, and they asked us to play right after COVID. The first show any of us did after COVID, we went out there. It was a freezing, chilly day, and we had horns, and I put a whole band. That's when I just asked people, will you do this? Pete Lazos played drums, by the way, too. I didn't mention Pete yet. Lenny LaPinta played on that, on saxophone. But we did it, and it sounded good. So then G's Nightclub in Hempstead gave us a short. They had like a songwriter promo thing. I said, can I bring a band with horns? And they're like, all right, cool. I did that.
Yeah.
Then I told Kevin, and Kevin's like, yeah, why don't we do it Thursday night? Can I tell you, we packed the place out. It was a lot. His first original show. I did most of my, what's going to be my first album. I still haven't finished it because now we're all back to our lives again. But family, friends, music fans, people heard the songs. It was unbelievable. So it was my band. It was a 13-piece band up on that stage with background singers, horns, percussion, drums. It was, what a rush. That's something I'll never forget.
I tell you, I'd love to have Kevin on because I'd love to get the perspective from a venue owner.
Great. I'll talk to him.
Yeah, please do. Because
this guy.
Yeah, no, I've heard his name mentioned a lot, but once these guys grab guys like you and you're a known element and you deliver on what you promise, and you do something different. I mean, that's kind of key. I mean, it's key. So
right,
yeah, great.
And to that point, and to the point of them closing, we had that great first night, and he brought me back, and we did what night did we do? We did another weeknight, maybe a Tuesday this time, which is harder, and
Sure.
we didn't do as well. It was a really crappy weather night too, and this is the problem that he was running into. Then he gave us a Sunday. We did a Sunday, and it snowed, and I think I might have played to 10 or 15 people, and it was such a drag. And that's what happens. But to his point of he had his lease was coming up, as from what I believe happened, and he wasn't getting the people back since COVID. A lot of people are still not going out.
Yeah. Little people were pretty shy about it. You know, we went through that whole thing where I remember I was at Lily Flanagan's and they had a 2-piece playing under a tent, and my wife and I went to get up to dance, and the bouncer came over to us and said, "No, you're not allowed to dance." I was like, "Oh my God!" But you know, it struck reality. But you know what? I honestly, maybe this is just hopeful thinking on my part, I think this is going to be a great summer. I think people are just really anxious to get out and party and rub elbows with people and just kind of celebrate being alive, you know?
I hope so. I've got a lot. I got about 30 gigs on the books between, I'll mention my other couple of projects if you don't mind. Give a little plug.
I do not mind at all.
Brand new project, which is becoming a lot of fun, is a band called Instant Replay. David Salav, who's actually one of the, I guess he's a small percentage owner of 89 North. He put this band together. He basically plays rhythm guitar and runs the band. Mm-hmm. And he's put some phenomenal people around him in this band. You know Amber Ferrari?
I know the name. Yep.
She's a Long Island singer who she does original music. She's got a powerhouse voice. She does a Janis Joplin tribute.
Oh, yes, yes.
And she does a Pat Benatar and a Madonna tribute. So you got Amber in there. You have John Cotillo on keyboards. Simon Walsh, who plays with 45 RPM, and he's just a rip. He plays bass. And we have Rafe on drums. And am I missing anybody? And Johnny Sax and Johnny Sax. So, but we do all kinds of stuff. It's a cover band. It's not a tribute band. We'll do Tom Jones. It's not unusual. Then we'll do Best by Jerry Rafferty. Then Boz Scaggs, and then we'll do Amber will sing Madonna, and we're all over the map. But it's really done well with Lupita Frampton. I'll get up there with my talk box.
Oh, and nice!
It's fun, and we're playing. I'm going to promote this gig because we're playing with 45 RPM over at the Warehouse, and I think everybody should come see a really fun band. It's in June.
Yeah, they're great. They're a great band. I met Matthew Searing. Very nice
Matt's
guy.
A great guy.
Yeah, I met him when he was playing. I met him at Lily Flanagan's, of all places, when he was playing solo. Really nice fellow.
Oh, yeah.
By the way, any of these gigs, I'm happy to put up on gigdestiny.com.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, I'll share the Google Calendar, and you can put it right up there yourself. Happy to.
Awesome. Thank you. June 4th, we're at the Warehouse with Instant Replay.
Excellent.
Okay, another band I play with, a bunch of friends, fun guys. They just called me to fill in one gig, and I did one gig with them, and now they won't let me leave. So I never joined the band, but I play every gig with them now. Just about. It's called the Byrne Unit. Just a really fun band, a great bunch of guys. Bill Mizell, Dennis Byrne, Danny Finn, and Al Maggiata. We're playing at Farrell's in West Islip on the 20th. So Sam Powell's sitting in on bass, so that's a good time for Sam. He plays everything. So that's that. And Playin English, I might as well just give one plug to Playin English. We're playing at the Off Key Tiki on June 16th on a Thursday tribute night. That'll be a fun gig.
Excellent. Yeah. So if you guys go to gigdestiny.com and go to the live events, Darren, I'll have you plug everything in. We'll talk about it offline. It's very easy to do.
Cool.
And happy to promote live music on Long Island. That's for sure. Hey, let's do this. Let's get into the last song that you brought to me, Can't Get Over You. Tell me a little bit about that, and then we'll have our audience get a gander at it.
Okay. Can't Get Over You is that's one of my personal favorites. That's kind of an all-out rocker. So you've heard 3 of the tunes. I've had like 9 or 10 tunes for this album. Whenever I finish it, I've got about 7 done, and those are more on the rock side. But I have a kind of a very jazzy tune. I have a reggae tune called Your Love. It's reggae-ish rock. I have a ballad. So really, all my influence I'm just wearing on my sleeve here, and you can hear the opening riff, and that's very Doobie Brothers-ish on Can't Get Over You, and it's got a kind of a southern rock slant to it. And again, it's just written from a point of view of a woman who did a man wrong, and he's writing a song about it. And it's just a good barroom rocker. Richie Naso jumped in. I play the leads on that, but Richie plays the slide because I cannot play the slide very well, and I cannot play it anything like Richie Naso. So he came in and just came back here and crushed it. He crushes it live, and that song goes on because I just let it go on. It's about 6 minutes.
All right, so
Thing.
let's take a listen to Can't Get Over You, and then we'll be right back after that. Hey, everybody, we're back after that rockin' song. So just by the way, you can find Darren Gallagher's music on Spotify as well. We'll have the link right in the chapter marks and in the description as well. So I don't know. Do we cover it all?
Apple,
oh, yeah, you're on Apple
Music, Amazon, YouTube.
The whole 9 yards.
Yeah. Buy my stuff. It's good.
Yeah. Spend money for it, will you?
Yeah.
Hey, listen, Darren, honestly, I really appreciate you taking the time to do this. And I mention this a lot at the end of my podcast. A good friend of mine said to me, you know what, we can account for what we have in our bank accounts and what we own. We can never account for the time we have left on this earth. So when you give me an hour, it's very valuable.
Oh, it was my pleasure. Thank you. Thank you for giving me the platform to speak about my music. That's very appreciated. And hopefully you'll get some more guests from this as well. I know you will.
Yeah. And I'll come out to see you and you'll say, oh yeah, that gray haired guy. Yeah, I know him. All right, brother. Thank you so much. And thanks everybody for tuning in, and check out Darren Gallagher, please. He's got some great stuff.
Thank you so much.
All right. Be well. Peace.
Yeah.
Thank you for joining us today. I appreciate the time you spent with us. Please subscribe and comment and visit us at gigdestiny.com. Till next time, be generous with your joy, keep your spirits high, and let the music take you on a journey. Be well. Peace. Thanks so much for listening. Please rate, review, and comment on the show. We really love to hear from you. And call our listener line at 631-800-3579. Again, thanks so much. Be well.